Delighted, to be honest. If you'd have said in March that we'd have got any cricket at all, we'd have taken it. So to be able to play a full calendar summer of Test match cricket is quite incredible, and testament to everybody that's been involved in putting that on. You know, we had the easy bit of just playing, but actually everything that went into the biosecure environment and making sure everyone was safe, from opposition teams to production teams to umpires and officials. It was an incredible achievement by everyone to get that on. And what was awesome about the summer is the cricket that was played was of a high standard and had theatre, drama. There were moments in the summer that we'll remember. Won't remember this summer just for being COVID hit and really strange, but we'll remember it for some brilliant moments on the field, which is what sport's about.
You mentioned there a few months ago, I didn't think it'd be possible, obviously, when you were on that flight back from Sri Lanka. What were you kind of thinking back then? I suppose it was just unknown.
Yeah, I think everyone fell into the same trap back then of trying to predict the future, and you know the world was working at a week's time notice, really, wasn't it? No one could see what was going to happen, but it was mid-May where we started to think we might have a chance of playing some sort of cricket in a biosecure environment, and we picked up our training from early June to make sure that we could get ourselves in the best possible shape, ready for the summer. And you know, to have gone through that summer without too many devastating injuries, etc., like that, is testament to everyone at the ECB medical staff to have been able to get the players in that sort of shape. But it has just been an honour to be able to get on that field, to see Jimmy take 600 wickets, see Zach Crawley get a huge 250, to win both series. You know, you play cricket to win series and win test matches, which of course is vitally important. But this summer we weren't playing just to win cricket. We were playing for entertainment. We were playing for people to enjoy it. And I think we achieved all of that.
And you mentioned about the bubble. You, in a kind of way, you went from one lockdown to another, really, because obviously you were kind of confined to the hotels. How did you kind of find that transition of this whole new world of these biosecure bubbles?
It was strange. There's no getting away from it being bizarre, eating on a sort of a single table away from your mates that you're sharing a field with, but it had to be done, and I think the players embraced that, and it was made so secure and safe. We never felt any danger towards catching the COVID or anyone being in sort of physical harm. So yeah, I think once you got your mind around that this is what it is, you were doing it for the best of us being able to play the game, people being able to watch and enjoy the game, and the game being able to be being played simply. Once you got your head around that, it was fine.
You mentioned about playing for entertainment, not just to win series. You have to have a bit of a duty almost, I suppose, to bring sport back. You know, one of the first sports to come back. Was that kind of on yours and all of the lads' kind of agendas that you knew that the nation was looking to watch you to be entertained?
We knew that there would be more interest in cricket for sure, and it was quite a nerve-wracking time as players because we were coming into this series that potentially could be obviously no one in the grounds, but really viewed on telly and listened to on the radio. But we were sort of undercooked, so to speak, as players. It's not like we'd had our 10, 12 first-class games to get going. A lot of us, our last Test cricket was the end of January, and here we were, right, go and win for your country, go and perform, go and not make a fool of yourself really on telly. So there was a bit of nerves around, but I think that also kept the training really intense because people were desperate to hit the ground running. And I've been fortunate to play international cricket since 2006, and the standard of this summer, I just can't believe how good it was. I just can't believe some of the innings, some of the catches, some of the bowling, the athleticism, the entertainment, the games that had gone right down to the wire. It was as if the players had been playing all the way through the year. It was awesome to see.
Looking back then, I suppose, the start when the squad was selected, obviously the first game, obviously you were disappointed vocally to come back to where you are now. I suppose at the time, you spoke on Sky about your thoughts, but I suppose, did that kind of motivate you to say, look, I really still this drive, I'm getting back in this team and I'm going to be taking wickets for England?
I wouldn't say getting left out motivated me. There was a lot of motivation there because I knew I was bowling well. I felt fit, I felt fresh. I had confidence throughout last year's Ashes series in South Africa. So I knew if I got the chance, I'd be ready to go. I'd done quite a bit of work in lockdown, just in the garden into a net, and I just felt ready. So that's why it was a big disappointment not to play. But yeah, I did. I sort of channeled everything into wanting to win those test matches that I was involved in, and it was great to get the chance in the second test. And I didn't ever feel like I needed a rest. I just wanted to keep going and going, and I was actually gutted when the summer finished, because as sports people, when you get in those modes of confidence, and you just want to wrap it in a bubble and carry on. But unfortunately, the schedule didn't allow that. But that's now a job for me to try and sort of continue that into next year. I've got no cricket until January at the earliest. So now, how do I protect what I had this summer and take it into another year? Because I'd love to be able to do that.
I think I've heard a couple of players saying actually that rest that international cricketers don't often have, that lockdown period, could actually be a benefit longer down the road. Do you think that could be with you and the rest of the squad?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, the guys came back as fit as they'd ever been from lockdown, which we had a WhatsApp group going. We were all cycling together on apps and things, so there was a bit of competitiveness going, but also great testament to the players' characters, that they didn't just see that as, I'm just going to sit down and do nothing. I'm going to get better. I'm going to find a way, because everyone in our country found lockdown bizarre in some way, didn't they? It was a very strange time, but to have something on our minds to be able to aim for and stay fit for, obviously showed that the guys had done that. And for us test players, we're in a similar boat now. January, February might be a busy time for us, but now isn't. So we have to find a way to keep fit, stay motivated for when our chance comes.
And the actual cricket itself, how good were those two test series? As you said, a few standout moments, but to win both series was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. We were under pressure after the first game. West Indies came and played brilliantly. They deserved to win that game. Chasing just under 200 to win the game after being 30 for 3 is a huge amount of credit to them. And I don't think anyone, well, I know they did get a bit of credit, but actually they were over here early June. They went through a huge amount to play those 3 test matches, and they were ready. They were on fire that first game. So we knew we had to hit back when we got to Old Trafford, and we were fortunate to do that. I think if you'd have offered us 2 test match series wins at the start, we'd have taken it, because there were 2 very strong oppositions on pitches that we didn't know what we were going to get. The groundsman had little control of it. Everything was new to everybody, if that makes sense. So we were delighted to get those wins, and we just won the key moments when they mattered. Notably, Joss and Wokesy's partnership at Old Trafford is probably the biggest one, because if you go 1-0 down again, you're in a bit of trouble. So, I think to be able to have so many brilliant moments when they mattered is a great thing for this England Test team, because we're going to need a lot more of them in the next few years.
I know you're probably not going to want to talk about yourself, your own forms too much, but was there a moment outside of the 500, but or a spell that really pleased you the most, where you really got on top of the opposition and obviously helped your 5-footers?
Yeah, I mean, I think any time you take wickets in a winning Test match is what you do your job for. But also, I target key batsmen. I think when you are able to take key wickets in moments, that's our job at the end of the day. And Babar Azam at the Rose Bowl, I think he's one of the best batsmen in the world. To be able to get him with a ball that came out perfectly and set him up with that plan was a pleasing moment of the summer. But I think if I look back, the key moments for me personally was actually that first test I got back in, the second test against the West Indies, a completely new bowling attack. Wokesy, myself, Sam Curran came in, and we were relentless. It was our first game. We were a bit behind where the West Indies players were, because they'd already played, but we said, this is our opportunity, let's be relentless all the way through this game, and for all 3 of us to perform made us proud.
And the bowling attack now, the depth that we've had, the fact that obviously players missed out throughout the 6 matches, just shows the depth that England have got now. It's probably the best you've ever played with.
There's so much depth, yeah. It's very competitive, and that's a great thing. We always hear in sport that the more competition there is for places, the higher the standard, and you can see that this summer. At times we're having to leave out some really good players, which is tough for the players, but where you want to be as a team, because we know that when cricket gets, the schedules get busy, you need a lot of players. So we obviously have targets. We're going to India, India come to us, we go to Australia. We need an armoury of fast bowlers ready to go, and I think we're building that.
yourself, obviously 500 moment, Jimmy got 600 as well in the same summer, which was kind of nice to see people watching at home. How special was that moment to get there?
Yeah, it probably didn't sink in really until I sort of got home, got loads of messages, and actually saw the number on paper. I was like 500. Wow, that is it's an awesome amount. It's a really cool number to look at. Again, to do it in a Test match win was awesome. I was supposed to have my dad there in some sort of shape. He was working capacity. I couldn't see him, but in a weird summer where we didn't have our family and friends who have supported us for so many years there to enjoy our moments it was great to have Dad there to see. But yeah, I mean, I'm still very hungry for more wickets. I think that was one of the real positives of getting left out of the first game and coming back strongly. Was actually a tick in my own body saying, yeah, you want more, and that's a great place to be as a sports person. You're desperate, hungry for more, and I want more years. Jimmy's an idol of mine. I look at how he's done it. Why can't I do the same?
You mentioned there about your dad nice on the ground. Probably not all summer though, didn't you get a little tick off from him in one of the tests?
I did, yeah, a bit harshly done by there, I thought. But it's actually his birthday this week, so haven't bought him a card or a present yet. So we'll wait and see what happens there.
But generally, looking back at the summer, you spoke about it a little bit at the start. The effort that's gone in, particularly by the ECB and the opposing teams, to come over in a completely unknown situation. I suppose how much credit has to go to them to make sure that we could have this product on Sky that you can go out and perform?
So much credit. I mean, having gone through the biosecure bubble for 10 weeks or something, the Windies did a similar sort of time coming over way before we got in. 3 weeks, I think, before we got in. And I have a huge amount of respect for what they did. I know Jason Holder mentioned he got home and then was going straight off to the Caribbean Premier League into a biosecure. So what they did for cricket in general and for the English cricket ECB was awesome, and I've got no doubts that that us as a team would do similar, because we all are cricket lovers, and as long as our safety is guaranteed or to an acceptable level, then we're desperate to play cricket and desperate to see cricket played all around the world.
And a touch on the MVP, it's back-to-back summer test MVPs for yourself. You talked about being more hungry for the future. I suppose that those stats don't really lie, do they? Show you're still performing at very much top of your game. Yeah,
I genuinely think these last couple of years have been the best of my career, which is exciting to say as a 34-year-old, because it's very easy. I think in England we're very quick to write players off and very easy to look to the future, like next. Whereas you look at someone like Tom Brady, they sort of say, come on, let's get the most out of Tom Brady as we can. What's he won after the age of 34? He's won X amount of Super Bowls, more than he did before the age of 34. So I'm hungry, and I feed off the hunger through Jimmy as well. Jimmy's hungry. We're both bowling really well. I feel like I'm fitter than I have been. I'm stronger. I'm almost in that sort of optimal peak for me as a bowler, because I know what I'm doing mentally. Physically I'm able to back it up, and I feel like I've got enough skills in the locker now to work out batsmen quickly. So summer, sort of the summer of dreams in a way, in the fact that I managed to take quite a lot of wickets in winning causes, but also gives me a lot of positivity for the future, that I want to continue to do that, continue to win games for England, continue to try and be a member of winning teams, because that's what we play for, and I'll be ready when that opportunity comes again.
And just on that point, obviously everyone talks about yourself and Jimmy together all the time, but when you sit back and actually realise, over 1,100 Test wickets between you, how does it actually feel to be like one half of that kind of partnership?
We're both very open, both great friends, and we say there's no way I'd have been the bowler I am without Jimmy. And he says similar, in the fact that we feel very lucky to have been born to play in the same era together, because we do feed off each other. We're both very competitive. We both push each other on when we need to. We both try and rein each other back when we need to. I think we've about put to bed that argument of Broad and Anderson can't play together anymore, because we win Test matches and we build pressure. And I think when people go down that route, it's actually a bit of a misunderstanding of how cricket's played sometimes, because actually it's not about bowling 95 mile an hour, it's about creating pressure at the right times to be able to get wickets in your way. And Jimmy and I've proved that consistently, not just throughout this summer, but summers previous. And while we're bowling well, while we're fit, why wouldn't we play together if it helps England win games? Just
finally, one thing actually, when Jimmy was going for his 600, that drop that hit you somewhere on the elbow.
Didn't see it. Yeah, it followed 2 drops in the slips as well, which actually helped me a little bit in the fact that I think Zach Crawley and Rory Burns dropped one, and then it hit me on the arm, and I was like, I didn't see that. And I went up to the guys, I didn't see that, it's a bit of a worry, because it was like 6:10 at night, and they said, no, we didn't see it either. And Joss went, you can't catch what you can't see. We're like, yeah, good point, don't say that to Jimmy right now. But yeah, that would have taken him to 598, I think. And I actually think he was more grumpy at the 2 before. By the time I dropped the 3rd, he was like, not my day, I'm done, not my day. But yeah, to be honest, I hadn't dropped a catch off him for 7 years, I think. Shane Watson at the Oval 2013. So I owed him one.
not that you mentioned that to your sis.
Not that you mentioned that.
Yeah, I just love after that, like, obviously threw it, run him out, and just his face was just like...
I just threw it in anger though, I wasn't even looking at the stumps. I genuinely didn't know really where the stumps were, I just lobbed it out of frustration. Because the first time I heard the ball was coming to me was Joss going, Brody! I was like, where is it, and it just hit me. And I just threw it at frustration, like, and it hit the stumps. But that was almost worse.
Yeah, because you took up one of his chances to get a wicket for his 600.
Yeah. That was almost worse. And then suddenly it went on Twitter like, this is a wicket falls. Where if it's just a drop catch, it just hides as the wind blows. But as it's now a wicket, it's almost more of a story. Oh, awful.